Our team in the Kubernetes Competence Center is called the Kubica team. And we have several missions here. The Kubica team has the mission to supply Kubernetes endpoints to deploy containerized workloads to, but also in our professional services, we focus very tightly on bringing the customer to their successful deployment and to their success of the project as well. So we take their hand end to end, and we show them how it's done. We create the capability to create containers to start with, because many people and many projects, many customers of us, they know they have an app and they need to run it somewhere, but they have no idea how to make it a container in the first place. Then we also educate. We share knowledge about creating infrastructure in general, infrastructure as code, and how to work with that. So we start with 15-year-olds in our company doing that with Azubis. And we have also another thing that is called platform agnostic group service integration, to go away from platforms centralizing everything, and also to reach more business goals while having decentralized managed services that you can integrate with a mouse click in your platform through operators, for example. And here we focus on the OpenShift platform that is in our responsibility. Also, I really want to show you, to get a clear understanding of what we're doing. We have on the left side here at column A, we have the development of something. Yeah. So, but the development also has an operational part. That is the application lifecycle. So when we talk DevOps, we need to separate the DevOps with the full stack and the DevOps with the app. There's 3 columns. I mean, you can copy paste that if you want, if you're working at Bosch, Siemens, or other companies. Just take it. It's very useful to explain of how enterprises are working and how all process-driven companies are working. And startups probably will not relate too much with that. So there is DevOps app, and that is really something on the left side here in white. We consult projects in the middle column, how they shall do their backup and restore, for example, RDS stuff in a separate VPC out of the cluster. That's something that we can consult them in, but that's in their responsibility, and where we take over the entire responsibility with the Kubica O. O stands for OpenShift. Kubica O is the OpenShift-based platform in the VW group. There we say all this DevOps of the infrastructure, that is taken over for you as a fully managed service with cloud agnostic middleware and container security, layer 7 firewalls and whatnot, load balancing. So, and that's already where we can start with the feature list, like what is necessary here. We have OpenShift 4.7 with 24/7 support and 1 hour response time, or 4.6 and 4.7, depends on the cluster you're talking about. And then we have a layer 7 firewall, app protect, load balancer, container imaging, container runtime scanning, core OS hardening, vulnerability checks, automated alerts. So what creates a platform? What is the value add of a platform? What is the stuff that you want to have in a platform and that you want to take away from your customers and the projects to create a safe, robust, reliable, secure environment for a container to be deployed to? That is all basically security features, as you can see here. I mean, Audi IDP and Cloud IDP, that is OpenID Connect, that is authentication to the cluster. And for the projects as well as a managed service, these are group services, for example. That stuff, that is something you don't want 20 of your projects to do themselves. So you supply it as a platform, you raise synergies within the projects that are using this platform. And as you can see, 90% of what we're spending here in the platform effort is security. Obviously, we want robust and reliable services. But the on-top services and spendings here, they are really focusing on security. And I don't know how many of you are using it. We have several offers from OpenShift. We use OpenShift Dedicated on AWS. This stuff, for example, this is already outdated. We have Azure as well. Then we have the OpenShift self-managed. And we have OKD, the open source version as well for testing and for development purposes. So there's every flavor of OpenShift in the company, and that is really something that we kind of focus on when we talk about being scalable with a partner. Then the dedicated offer was really very fast, and as you can see in the pricing, I don't know, we're very transparent about our pricing also in the CNCF, because I manage the partnership of the Audi AG with the Cloud Native Computing Foundation as well. So I exchange constantly knowledge with other companies, other industries, everything. So in IT infrastructure, that's what I meant in the beginning. We're basically not very focusing on which industry we're in. Obviously, we face kind of the same challenges everywhere. So, so much to that. That's something that we definitely wanted to share for you guys, what you have in mind if we talk tech stuff on a very high level. The mission PAXI, Platform Agnostic Group Service Integration, that is something on VW Group level that we're talking about. It's about reaching business goals. And when we say we need to challenge ourselves every day and think outside of the box, that is buzzword bingo from people most of the time, but it's just true. It's just true. You can, for those who have kids, you can explain what you're doing to your kids, and at a certain point they will ask why. Yeah, and that's something we forget too often while we take things for granted, asking why, and why. If you ask 3 times why, you get to the source of the problem. Why shall we have less platforms and create more synergies? Well, synergies is such a buzzword, isn't it? In every management meeting, the higher you get, the more people talk about synergies without challenging the term itself. And big enterprises are kind of socialist empires, you must know, or probably you do know. They make 3-year budget plans and they allocate power through headcount and budget responsibility. So we're going away from that. We transform old thinking, we transform plan, build, run organizations into agile organizations. We become more digital and we challenge everything, even something that empires are built off sometimes. And when you ask why behind the synergies, why should we talk container platforms in the first place, right? We want to be more efficient. We want to cut costs. We want to lower dependencies. So now if you see the lower dependencies in the distributed risk business goal, that is a valid business goal, and it's an important one. But you get the idea. Centralizing everything on a platform, putting all the pressure on a single layer, is definitely not lower dependencies and definitely not distributed risk. Is it sharing knowledge to have a plan, build, run organization? Definitely. You throw something over the fence and the other one says, oh, whoa, what the heck is this? I have no idea how I shall operate this, but let's try. No, most of the people didn't say, let's try. Then, obviously, Audi's philosophy is Vorsprung durch Technik. Progress is an attitude. And So if you get behind this philosophy, you also want to enable your innovators to create this Vorsprung durch Technik. It's also be customer-centric and create best fit solutions for everyone. We have a saying in German. Some of you know, most of you are from EMEA region, so that's the eierlegende Wollmilchsau. It's something that usually doesn't exist. You can you cannot create 100% use case product, and you don't want to do it because the first 80% cost you as much as every percentage after the 80%. So when we say customer centricity and we think customer first, then why are we doing what we're doing, and for whom are we doing it? Why did we create many platforms in the first place? And I will also spend this and in the end tell you why OpenShift for us was the solution actually. Not OpenShift 3, to be honest, just OpenShift 4. And yeah, I'm coming to that. So when you say 80% use cases are what we're doing, then you invest a lot of time and money into making something generic. And this kind of business case pays out if you make it generic enough to really supply a large demand for it. That needs a proper demand engineering, obviously. That needs a proper funnel from your business partner management. We call it business partner management. Basically, it's platform owner or product owner talking to customers and knowing what the customer wants. Customer centricity first, right? So, and then when you tailor this more and more to specific use cases, you can create shortcuts, you can be faster, you can innovate maybe faster, but you don't have a safe harbor for everyone. So there's always a trade-off, and it's always very tricky. But we also have legal differences, like is it internal, external, internet-facing B2C or B2B, right? So then we have banks. We have the VWFS, for example. We have the Audi bank. We have literally banks that have a complete different regulatory set in the VW group, and they want to use this stuff too. So you create a cluster different for your bank. You create a cluster different for internal use only. It's shortcut. You don't need all most of the security features that are for internet-facing applications. And also, if we create apps for sales or vendors or retailers, Audi retailers, then this is also with different legal prerequisites. Then if we create them for customers, like you and me, if we buy, or not me, but you, if you buy an Audi. And yeah, so app architecture is also a big challenge because that's why our professional services come in place. And what I've shown you on one of the first slides. If you consult the projects with their app architecture in the first place before they come to you and throw something over the fence, you're usually not having any problems. But that's not the reality. People have stuff and they say, yeah, let's go to the cloud. And you're like, yeah, do you have a container? What's a container? Okay, where shall we start? Yeah, so app architecture is something really tricky. How will you make a transformation of existent digital products that are not containerized, containerize them, and do you even have benefits from it? Just throwing everything into the cloud is not the solution there either. Then we have network impediments in the VW group. Obviously, I mean, there's Seat, Scania, Porsche, Skoda, there's VW Poznan, VW Nutzfahrzeuge, there's Audi Hungaria, there's Audi China, Mexico, US. So you have different regions, we have different legal prerequisites on these regions. So you get the idea. Why do we have so many platforms? And sometimes we need a car configurator work in the US and we need a car configurator work in Europe, or we need machine-to-machine communication or different networks in production working the same way in a Chinese shop floor, then it should work in Ingolstadt or in Leipzig in our factory with Porsche and VW. But then if you see also the distributing risk thing, it's okay to create more platforms. But what is the real cost driver behind these platforms? It's the integration part, it's the development part, it's everybody does his own thing without talking to the other part. It's a lack of communication in the end. So that's why we have an OpenShift all brands hands. There everyone is invited to join, share best practices, and go home smarter than before. It's not much time a week, it's 15 minutes a week. And from these 15 minutes, we can create breakout sessions if they are necessary. And we seriously coordinate, my team coordinates seriously the entire VW group in OpenShift with these 15 minutes. If there's necessity, if you need something from an expert group, you go there, you get your knowledge, you make breakout sessions, and you go home. And so we have Kubernetes, obviously. We have operators now. I hope you are aware of that, what operators are capable of, and that's now the charming thing. If we kill the cost driver, which is integration, by decentralizing group services with operators, then we reach all of the business goals for the first time. Through technology, through modern technology, and through a platform that is capable of using operators, that's why I said OpenShift 3 was not capable. OpenShift 4 is capable. And so when we look at what should a platform be like or work like, then this marketplace thing is really something that Amazon probably showed the world that it's good, it works. And enterprise platforms usually centralize. I mean, the incentive is clear, headcount and budget, remember, empires. And to get rid of that, to get rid of the empires anyway, and to think like a platformer, you create marketplaces where they can push their operators, level 5 operators in the best case, level 3 operators minimum, into this marketplace, and you click and make a pop-up platform, so to say, with all the integration in place. You set some standards, and then you can create special use cases. That's the basic idea of what I wanted to show you to disrupt old enterprise politics, to create through technology and through a common technological base that is mostly cloud agnostic. Also an exit strategy from hyperscalers, because that is, from a strategic point of view, something very important for us. To be independent from Google, Amazon, or Azure, Microsoft. And in this case, we are very flexible, and most of our platforms are going into the direction of a cloud agnostic control plane. OpenShift is not the only one, because also here we have an exit strategy, obviously. And but it's a go-to platform at the moment that we can definitely use to solve our problems and be strategically well set.